Hi guys, it's Clarice, and in today's video we are going to be learning how to do some layering, some blending by using just some simple strokes and repetition, a lot of repetition. So I hope you guys enjoy this. If you like this video, please remember to subscribe to my channel or share the video. Also like by hitting the like button. I would greatly appreciate it. I am trying to hit 20K followers before May 30th, which is my birthday. So I hope you'll help me with that, guys. Really appreciate your support. Thanks, and carry on watching for this tutorial. So here's a listing of my products that I will be using for today. Please note that links for purchase to all these products are in the description below. So feel free to check those out. For my paper, I am using my Canson watercolor paper. This is a piece from the 9x12 sheet. I just cut it out. For my brushes, I am going to be using my silver black velvet in the 4 and the 8. And I have this palette right here by Lisi Arts. She is on Instagram. She makes amazing resin artwork. Or pieces of art, and she's got an amazing line of watercolor palettes, so you should definitely check her out. I will list her link to Instagram below as well. For my colors, I am using something a little bit different today outside of the pink. I figured I'd match my nails, why not? So I have my cadmium red light, I have the English red, I'm definitely using the raw umber, emerald, and yellow ochre. So I'm just going to keep these aside. I might use all of them. I might use just 3 of them. I'll let you guys know as we kind of go along. I have my paper towel ready. I have my little bucket of water ready, micro mini bucket, and we are good to go. So let's start right away. So the concept behind a painting like this that is faint and layered and has some beautiful blending happening is that you need to make sure that your page or your paper is wet enough or wet long enough that when you go in with the second color, the color blends in and you get a nice blend. Now, as I mentioned, I am using the Canson watercolor paper. This is not 100% cotton, and so it kind of dries up fairly quickly. So if you have slightly better quality watercolor paper, absolutely try that on the side as well to compare the results that you get. Do not get frustrated. Definitely try it again. This is something that you can repeat and it'll help you get used to watercolor and also your brushes and then the blending and whatnot. So do not give up. Let's begin before I scare most of you away by making daunting remarks like this. So I'm going to start off with making sure that my brush is wet, and I'm going to get a little bit of the burnt umber. And I am going to start by doing the stem, and let's just do some nice little flowy stems. And I'm going to put my water right here so you can see me dipping as I kind of go along. So let's do that this way. So I'm going to do my stem. Let's do the first stem happening right here, and it needs to be thick enough so that when you're going down you have a nice river of water that you're creating this line with. And once I have that at the top, I'm going to create cute little like stems, additional stems coming out of it with very organic shapes. You can make circles or you can make it look like leaves. It's entirely up to you, and I'm just kind of giving them some direction. I'm gonna get a little bit of water, or I'll just get a little bit more of the green, and I'm gonna do another one here. And I'm making sure that the amount of color that I'm putting down is just enough that it's not going to get dried right away. And I'm just going to get a little bit more happening over here. And then once I am happy with the amount of, I guess, green that I have, I'm going to go in and get some of that orangey red that we have. And I am going to directly start adding a couple of strokes, like right in and around this area, and I'm doing the same sort of strokes like leaves, and I'm just extending to make it, give it a pop of color, but also make it seem like it is like a multi-tone plant or stem. And I'm going to push the color down so that it blends properly and nicely. I'm going to add a little bit here and there. I'm going to add some more down here as we go. And literally you can see the blend that you are getting. And at this point you can add that third color in. And I'm just going to make sure that the colors are blending in properly before I go get in some of the darker color that we have here. And it helps to sort of make sure that the third one that you're going in, you can kind of go in with a slightly darker hue. And by that I mean like it's a little more potent, less water, more color, and it gives you a little more definition when you're adding the same kind of strokes within this painting that you've already sort of started off with the leaves. So you can see these are more defined than some of the others, but it's giving you a nice enough blend that you can tell like it's all part of the same thing. And that's the whole point of going super light and then going with a darker hue. And you can get that nice blend, but you can also get that nice contrast, not just with the color, but also the strokes, right? And then if you want to add a little more green, say you think this is way too brown, you want some more green, just go back in, get a little more of your green, and then just kind of extend in the areas where you've just added your brown and add more of those leaves. And you can extend some just from here because you just laid the color there. Any areas where you feel like you've just laid the color, just kind of add a couple of strokes, and then immediately you can see the blend happening, and that's quite pretty. And these are all, you can also use this technique as like part of your filler florals or leaves in some of your paintings that you do, and that would work quite nicely as well. So quite a few different areas that you can use this technique for. This would also look quite pretty if we did this as a wreath. I am contemplating doing the wreath idea for our Sunday live, which always happens Sunday at 2 p.m. EST. So join in if you are new. Okay, so I've done one, but this is pretty much the concept that we're doing. Let's do another one just so you can get the hang of the whole idea behind it. And then all right, for the next one, I'm going to use more of the yellow ochre as opposed to the green, and I am just going to start off by doing something like this. And maybe you feel that things are drying up too quickly, in which case I would say, you know what, do it in segments, like do the first half and then do the second half after. And you don't have to do it leaves. You can absolutely do these as little tiny berry looking things. I'm going to get some of the orange or the red, and I'm going to add an extension right here. I'm sticking with the leaf looking shapes just because it comes a little more naturally to me after practicing and doing so many leaves. And obviously, if you guys are new to this and you're still struggling with leaves, please do check out the video that I did on watercolor basics, and the first video itself is on leaves. So you should definitely check that out. But look how pretty this is turning out. You can just see the delicate blend that is happening. At this point, I'm going to get some of the green that we have, and I'm going to extend and then get in a little bit of the yellow and create more of these leaves. And notice I am giving it some direction. I don't mind it touching just a little bit of what we have on the side, because this is like one of those paintings that kind of like are really intricate in detail. So it works. as you can see, as I'm going along, I'm just kind of adding additional strokes. It's literally the same movement, but all I am changing is the amount of, the kind of color that I'm getting on my brush. So you can see that. I'll just do one more here. This one's slightly darker. I'll give this leaf like a twirl there. That's like it's almost going over. And then I did mention that go in with like a darker tone. So I'm just going to get some of the umber directly from here. And if there's any areas that are still damp, I'm just going to extend a little bit of color there and then kind of go downward and continue on with our pattern. So literally it is a pattern. It is repetitive. It does give you a lot of practice in terms of getting your colors in, getting those strokes in, mixing. And so you can see, I love how that transition is happening. It is so pretty. And I'm just adding some of the brown to the bottom of it, and then I'm going to continue downward. So now you have this cute little flowy stem with leaves. So adding more of that brown here, or English red, sorry. To be politically correct, English red. And I'll just extend another branch over on this end. Now, remember how I mentioned you can do berry looking structures for this? Absolutely go ahead and do that if you can. You can mix the two up, and that might give you a surprisingly nice effect, because remember my tips for amazing watercolor, or not amazing watercolor, but loose watercolor, is texture, color, shape, and white space. And so you can see that trend is still continuing on even in something like this. There we go. We have that cute little, another cute little branch. You can always do tinier, like if you don't want to do any more of these sort of leaves, I encourage you to kind of do the more simplistic looking leaves. And by that I mean like how the wildflowers have just like a little bit of stroke here, a little bit of a stroke there. And again, that is adding some cute interest and also cute details to your painting. Right, so we have this, and it's very, very cute looking. I am liking it. I'm going to do one more, and but you guys get the whole concept of this by now, right? So let me just do one more, and I will be right back. So here we go. I painted a darker version of what we've been doing right down the center. And this is going to be the foreground element that we have going on. I'm just darkening the stem so it stands out and pops out a bit more. And I'm just adding a bit of the green to the leaves that we have here. So again, it stands out more than the others. But I like how it's kind of almost blending in with the one to the side and the one over here. It gives you that nice, chaotic yet pretty watercolor look. So I'm going to do one more kind of in this manner, faint and loose off to the side, to sort of go over this technique with you guys one more time before we can call it quits. So I'm going to start off with doing the yellow ochre. And we'll start that off right this way. And I'm going to add a little bit of a berry kind of look to this one. And I want to add less detail at the tip and then kind of like more happening as you kind of go down the bottom. So I'm adding very loose strokes, making sure that the stem is connected to all these pieces so that when I go in with my second color, that it gives me a nice blend. So now I'm going in with the red light and I'm just adding a couple of strokes to what we've added already, and then I'm going to extend it and create more. So you can either continue with the leaf, or you can do a blend between the leaves and the berry kind of looking shapes, so circular shapes. Just keep it interesting, keep it minimalistic, keep it quick so that you're not missing out on the blend that is to happen. At this point I'm going to get some of the green because I just feel like the green with this yellowy orange kind of goes really pretty and quite nice. And for some reason I keep gravitating towards doing the leaf strokes. So I guess that's what I'm going to stick with. I like how the leaves are looking. I'm just going to add a little bit of the green at the top here as well. I'm just adding some leaves poking out from some of the leaves at the top. And then you can kind of add more of the yellow as you're creating more leaves. And it's just literally by you touching the color you've already laid down, that's good enough for you to kind of get a nice blend. So I'm adding some of the orange at this point. So feel free to use colors that you are, I guess, more partial to. I'm just using this because I felt like it would be a nice, pretty vibe compared to the regular pinks and such that I use. But you can absolutely use any of the colors that you feel you're partial to. This is not about making it look realistic. It's more about going and adding detail without adding detail. Does that make sense? And also kind of doing it in a very abstract manner. So the rest of this I can just make it a lot darker. I'm getting it all the way down to sort of complete that stem. And then I can just kind of go ahead and do maybe whichever color I want to. I'm adding the yellow ochre. And then maybe even just move in some of that green so it seeps into the yellow ochre. There we go, just like that. You can switch back to the orange if you wish, or stick with what you want. But I'm kind of literally at this point, I have the colors on my palette and I'm just kind of using them to create this pretty picture. So I'm just kind of going along with it. And now just using my number 4 with just water on it. I'm just going to add a couple of tiny strokes with the color that is still damp here. And actually this one's dried up pretty well, so I'm going to add my own color and extend that. There we go. So we have this cute little like wildflower type pattern happening, and again the whole point is to get that nice blend happening and then kind of also try and go in and add something in the foreground and get used to mixing watercolor. So you can see how the colors are blending in, and it's quite pretty because I've got that brown, greenish brown, I've got that yellow, I've got the red, And yeah, this is it. So hope you guys like this tutorial, guys. Let me know in the comments what you thought. Send me your work. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm happy to answer them. But the whole point of this video is to blend colors and to kind of do the layering technique in a more simplistic fashion, something that you can practice more often. If you've enjoyed this tutorial, please feel free to check out some of my other tutorials as well. If you're new, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button to this video. Feel free to share this in your social media circles. My goal is to hit 20K subscribers before May 30th. So I'm really hoping you can help me with that. So thanks so much, guys, for watching. And yes, we'll chat soon. Bye.